So if I would train my attention on this vibration of flow, trust, well-being, health.
Well, health is a little more specific than maybe is good for you.
Oh.
That's a condition. In other words, if you're not feeling so good, then that's a condition that might make it harder for you to focus there. So we'd be more general than that if we were standing in your physical shoes. That's like someone saying to you, our friend earlier who's having these dreams and who, while he's dreaming, knows that abundance is coming to him in great proportion. But if he's looking right now at the relationship of the abundance that's come versus the abundance that he's been dreaming about, he might hinder his own vibration in this moment by focusing on the absence of something that is not tangible. And what we are saying to him and to you, focus upon the presence of something that is perceivable. That's what unconditional means. Focus upon the vibrational evidence of it. Focus upon the vibrational essence, the vibrational evidence essence of it, and it will become a condition that is tangible. But if you get ahead of yourself and need the condition to be there first and it isn't, then you introduce resistance into your vibration and you slow the whole thing down. You all heard that clearly, didn't you? And that's what Louise means when she says trust the process.
Something like the focus could be on peace or a vibration of
if you believe
joy.
In peace, but that's a hard one too. And don't focus on love for humanity, because that's a hard one too. In other words, when we were wanting to help someone understand that, on the telephone one day with a woman who wasn't having any of us, we said, focus on blue glass. And she said, for God's sake, why? And we said, because we are asking you to, and because you don't have any negative attachment to that.
To blue what?
Blue glass. We just said,
okay.
focus on blue glass. She wasn't too impressed. And then we said, let's focus on butterflies. She wasn't too impressed about that either. Let's focus on feathers. She ended up hanging up in great dissatisfaction. And then Esther went about her day. And within the next couple of hours, all three of those things presented themselves to her in what most would call maybe natural ways, maybe even circumstantial ways, maybe even mundane ways. But because they were things that were active in Esther's vibration, it got her attention when she realized what was happening. Jerry and Esther had gone to La Jolla to have lunch, and they left the car with the valet and got out of the car and were walking up the street to George's where they were going to eat, and they were walking past a shop, and Esther felt a very strong compulsion to go in the shop. Now, that isn't an unusual thing, really. But Esther knows the feeling that she felt. It was like an undeniable feeling. It was like, I must go in here. And Jerry didn't want to go. And Esther said, please, 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 just come with me for a minute, just for a minute, just for a minute, just for a minute, just for a minute. Please, 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 come with me just for a minute, just for a minute, just for a minute, just for a minute. Please, 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 come with me just for a minute. Why? I don't know. What's in there? I don't know. Is there something in there you want? I don't know. Please, 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 come with me. The impulse was so strong. In they went. And on the back wall, a wall of blue glass, unlike anything Esther had ever seen. Not anything she wanted, but blue glass. Blue glass. Blue glass because it was active in her vibration, barely, and the universe was, through the path of least resistance, showing her the path to anything active in your vibration is right there close by. So they weren't there very long. They came out, they went and they had lunch, then they went down to the edge of the ocean. And as they were walking across the grass on the way to the rocks and the sand, a flurry of butterflies surrounded them that was so dense they had to stop talking to keep from eating butterflies. It was really, really intense butterflies, like nothing she'd ever seen. Butterflies. A herd of butterflies. A plethora of butterflies. Unusual, weird. It was weird butterflies. It was weird butterflies. But even then, Esther didn't notice. She hadn't felt the correlation about the blue glass, and she hadn't felt the correlation about the butterflies. She was detached enough in the conversation. And then a little boy, who she didn't know, came running across the grass and handed her a feather. And then she said, oh, Jerry, you didn't hear the conversation, but Abraham was talking about blue glass and butterflies and feathers, and look what's happened already, you see. Test the universe. Make a list of things that you aren't all balled up about. In other words, Esther was not, or that woman either, did not have any resistance to those things. And when you focus upon something with no resistance, it's in your experience fast. But most people focus upon the thing that they're worried the most about, so they're focused upon the thing that they have the most resistance about, and then they say, this doesn't work for me, when it does. You say it all the time. Why do the things that I don't care about happen, and the things that I do care about don't happen? We say, because you care about them from the place of not having them. You're conditional about them, you see. Esther was unconditional about blue glass and butterflies and feathers. And when they became active in her vibration, then there they were. And so that's what you do.
Yeah, so what I'm getting out of this is something like, if I could focus on the enjoyment of the blooming of my own being and things that I love and things that I want.
Yes, and only you will know as you find a piece of something to focus upon whether it holds resistance or whether it doesn't. If it feels like a good idea to focus on it, do. And if it's enjoyable, in other words, anything that you find interesting is usually something that is aligning for you. Anything that fascinates you is usually something that's aligning. Anything that's really fun. But so many of you have been trained not to follow that path of least resistance, because then they want to call you lazy. Oh, don't follow the path of fun or the path of clarity. We need you to follow the path of diligence and the path of duty. And we say, how's it working out?
So what a simple way of saying it, follow your bliss, forget about Parkinson's?
We would say follow your bliss. We would not introduce Parkinson's into the equation.
Thank you.
Because that screws it up. Don't you feel it?
Yeah.
Follow your bliss. Away from Parkinson's. That's how it goes, you see. Follow your bliss, follow your bliss, follow your bliss. Let what you don't want be a non-issue. And the way you make it be a non-issue is by it not being active in your vibration. But how do you make something not be active in your vibration? By making something else active in your vibration. Because there's no exclusion in this law of attraction-based universe. This is an inclusion-based universe. So when you shout yes to something, you include it. When you shout no at something, you include it. So you got to understand that your attention to it includes it, because your attention to it causes you to offer a vibration that law of attraction is matching. Isn't that nice to know?
Yeah, say that one more time.
You were how far back do you want us to go?
About 15 seconds.
There's no exclusion in this inclusion-based universe. So when you see something that you want and you say, yes, I like that, yes, I would like to have that, I appreciate it for this reason and this reason and this reason, that vibration is active within you, and what it is and you are a vibrational match. And so a path of no resistance is carved out between you and it. When you see something you don't want and you say, I'm going to get rid of this, since there's no such thing as no, what you're actually doing is saying yes to what you don't want. So when you include it in your vibration, even though you're saying, I'm really not wanting this, and I'm going to find a way around this, and I'm going to find a solution to this, if this is active in your vibration because your attention is upon it, you're holding it, you're maintaining it. All of you have the potential for every disease that was ever known to man. Everything is possible. The question is, how active is your vibration about it, you see? And so if we were standing in your physical shoes, when we follow our bliss, we would be following our bliss for the exhilaration of the bliss, not to get away from what isn't bliss. But in this business of knowing what you want and knowing what you don't want, knowing what you don't want is part of it too. We don't want to make you afraid of your thoughts. We don't want you to be resistant about your thoughts. We just want you to make choices about your thought. Oh, I can say that softer. I can say that with less condition. We gave you a piece here today that we have not spoken so clearly before, about the unconditional love. Unconditional love is something that you've been hearing about most of your life. And most of you think that what unconditional love is accept the condition and just tolerate it, accept it and love around it. Well, that's not even possible. You can't look at something that is unwanted and hold yourself in the vibrational frequency of what is wanted. Don't ask yourself to do the impossible. So when we're talking, and we gave a very good demonstration of it for you here today, so there is a vibration that will turn to thoughts and emotions that will eventually turn to results, to bodily conditions, to physical manifestations, to buildings and projects and empires and relationships. In other words, these vibrations will turn to the tangible, meaty things that you want to embrace in this physical life experience. They will, because that's what the momentum of law of attraction does. What you think about does become reality. You create your own reality in that way. So when we say to you, don't focus upon the reality that you have unless it's really pleasing to you, be a selective sifter. Look at the aspects of your life that you are really appreciating and keep that appreciation factor active in your vibration, and then only other appreciation factors can come into your experience. But when you focus upon a problem that you're wanting to get rid of, it's amplified usually, and there's a vibration of activity, and that's why most diseases become more. And it's why most diseases become much more after diagnosis, is because the attention upon it causes a stronger activation of it. And so law of attraction gives you more of what's active in your vibration, not as a punishment, as a response to the vibration that you are offering. And so what we were demonstrating here today, we really want you to hear it, is that, and we want to lay into this the subject of law of attraction, the subject of momentum, which is easy for you to understand, the subject of trajectory, because that's what momentum is. It produces a trajectory. And then we want you to think, with all of those thoughts still moving in your mind, we want you to think about the subject, the condition. And instead of the condition, the full-blown manifestation, we want you to stop up here closer to the emotion, the emotional manifestation. Emotions are manifestations. And if you can be happy with the bliss, with the ease, with the feeling of well-being, if you can be happy with the emotion that you have produced because you stayed off the subject altogether. In other words, you saw a funny movie and you felt happy. That's a point of attraction. You talked to a dear friend who is high on life and you felt enlivened. That's an emotion. You looked out at the beautiful ocean and you felt appreciation for this magnificent earth. That's a vibration. And those things matter. Practice those vibrations, because well-being will follow that, you see. But if you try to go too far too fast into the condition, checking for the results, let's take score, let's see how much this good feeling thought has given me, let's look at the manifestation. Oh, it's not there yet. Now, it's not that you've undone the momentum that you've achieved, but you certainly slowed it down. And you are certainly practicing an approach to life that most are practicing that's not working out that well. And the reason that we say that is because you are moving much more slowly than you want toward the things that you care about. And there's one simple reason. You've got what is itis. What's happening has more of your attention than the emotions, because you're not unconditional yet. You're conditional. You'd rather look at the stuff. You'd rather look at what's happening rather than feel for the emotion. And you know what's really screwy about that? We love you so much. You know what's really screwy about that? Is that every single thing, every single relationship, every single circumstance, every single pile of money, every single condition, every single thing that you want is because you think you'll feel better in having it. Wouldn't it just be great if you could just feel better and then have it? But then you say, oh, I felt better and I got it, so I'll feel better and then I'll get that. Now you're making it conditional again. Cut it out. Stop making it conditional. Yeah, really good conversation. Yeah, really good. Yeah.